Well, hello there. My name is Cassie Stevens. Welcome to my closet. If you follow me on TikTok or Instagram, you're probably kind of familiar with this space because I do a lot of those like get ready with me videos in this room. And it is technically a room, not a closet, even though that's how I use it. It was just a spare bedroom that we had that wasn't getting used, and I was working out of a really tiny closet, and I clearly have a lot of clothes. So a while ago, I just converted this space. If you would like a closet tour of this joint right here, I will add a link to the video down below. That's not why we're here today. Today we're here to talk about how to design your own fabric. A while ago, I wrote a book called Larry the Line, this guy right here. On the inside of this book, I have this design. I was so excited about it that I went ahead and used the website Spoonflower, I'll link them down below, and created fabric, which is the fabric that I used to create this dress right here. Now, having this fabric designed and printed was really easy because all I had to do was upload my design to the website. I thought it would be great to do the same thing for my new book, Alfred the Ape Knows His Shapes, because I loved this page right here too. The problem was when I went to upload this design, it just didn't work out. So I had to figure out, how do I design my own fabric so that I can actually print it? Larry the Line was easy. That pattern is a stripe. So the stripes, they simply just repeat it. And I tried to do that with the shapes. There were these weird breaks in the pattern. You could just tell that it was one design that I was just copy and pasting. And I didn't want it to look that way. I wanted it to look like one continuous design, like a pattern. This design ended up being my first. It was so easy that I thought I would share with you the process to designing your very own fabric. Let's get started.
Before we dive into designing fabric on Procreate, grab a Post-it note and a marker, pair of scissors, and let me just walk you through the process so you understand it when you get to Procreate, because for me, this was a little bit hard to comprehend. Let me break it down for you. The first thing you're going to do is just create your design on a square piece of paper or square format on Procreate. Your second step is you're going to cut that design in half vertically. I'll show you how to do that in Procreate, but on your Post-it note, once you have it cut in half vertically, have the left and the right pieces trade places, just like that. And just for demonstration purposes, I'm going to tape these two pieces of paper together. You clearly don't need to do that. But what I want you to notice is that right through the middle vertically, there's kind of an empty spot. And so in that empty spot, I'm now going to add more pattern to fill that in, which is also something you'll do in Procreate. And once that center pattern is filled in, you're going to cut this design in half once more, but this time we're cutting it in half horizontally. Once we've clipped this design in half horizontally, we're going to have the top and the bottom pieces trade places. So just like the left and the right swapped places, now the top and the bottom will trade places. And once that's complete, I'm going to tape them together once I can get this Post-it note to stop sticking to me instead of where I want it to stick. Here I am trying to make sure that I get my top and bottom to swap places correctly before taping it in place. And then your last step, fill in that blank horizontal area just like you a moment ago filled in the blank vertical area. Those are the basics of what we're about to do when we tackle pattern making in Procreate. Let's go. Before we dive in, let me just say that I'm using Procreate and I'm starting with a 3000 by 3000 pixel square, and you'll want to begin by picking your background color. As I draw my design, I'm using the Studio Pen brush because I like the crisp line that it offers. By the way, this is not a beginner tutorial for Procreate. For that, I would recommend hopping over to Bardo Brush. She offers a ton of great YouTube tutorials. So for my design, what I'm keeping in mind is bright, bold colors and simple shapes. I'm also making sure to keep my shapes away from the edge. I'm not cropping anything. Give yourself a good border all of the way around and then just fill in the center. If you want to follow along with me, you could just stick with simple lines, simple shapes in a solid color, just so you understand the basics of how to create this pattern design. So here I am, just drawing with my studio pen and then filling in each one of these with the same color that I drew my design in. This is the look I'm going for my pattern. Now that my pattern is almost finished, we're ready to move on to the next step. Now, don't worry about getting your design perfectly filled in because we're going to go back quite a bit and fill in any empty areas. Just get it to a place where you think it looks pretty good. Now what we need to do is copy and paste your drawing into another layer. To do that, you'll use 3 fingers to swipe down. That'll bring up a bar. You'll tap copy, swipe 3 fingers down again, and then you're going to have that bar pop up again. This time, tap paste. This will put this entire image in a brand new layer for you to adjust. Now at the bottom of your screen, which you cannot see on mine, but you'll see on yours, you're going to see a button that says snapping. Go ahead and tap that button, and then you're going to toggle both of those functions on. Now using just 1 finger, you're going to slide this image over to the left. And the reason we put the snapping functions in place is because then it will snap or show you where the center line is, which I'm backing it up right to there. Give you a little bit of a visual. Imagine that we created this illustration on a sheet of paper. And what we're doing right now is we're cutting it vertically in half. And we just took the part that's on the right and we moved it over to the left. And now what we're about to do is take that portion of our illustration that's currently hiding underneath that new section. We're going to take it and move it over to the right. Basically taking 2 pieces of our image and just kind of having them swap places. So now that we have this portion done, we're going to go back to our original layer with our drawing on it. We're going to swipe down with 3 fingers to copy. We're going to swipe down with 3 fingers once more to paste. And now we're going to take that image and instead of sliding it to the left like we just did, we're now sliding it to the right, making sure that it snaps into place right in the center. It's important that you get it perfectly aligned, which is why we turned the snapping function on. So here's what that looks like. Now, I know when I first did this, I was so confused and very worried about all of the shapes that were cut in half. But remember, this is going to be a repeating pattern. Those pieces are going to align. What we need to worry about next is once my dotted line moves out of the way, you're going to see that I have a lot of kind of blank areas, especially in between that crescent moon and that purple oval, basically right through the center. So now we're going to look for any blank areas right through the middle part, again, kind of staying away from the border for now, and start to fill those in with any shapes, lines, or designs. So I'm going to go in now and then fill those parts in. And then our next phase will be to continue to shuffle this design around. So while I'm adding my designs, let me talk you through that. So just a moment ago, we moved half of the drawing where we cut it in half vertically. We shifted it over to the left. We shifted it over to the right. Now we're going to do pretty much the same thing, except we're moving it from the bottom, and then we're moving another piece to the top. So to do that, swipe your 3 fingers down to copy, swipe your 3 fingers down to paste. Using just 1 finger, slide your drawing down until you get to that center point. Now that you've got that slid down, you're going to go back to your image, not your original one, but the one where you slid portions of the design from the left to the right. Use 3 fingers to swipe down to copy, 3 fingers to swipe down to paste, and 1 finger to slide the image up. And then you're going to notice, just like how we had a vertical blank spot in the other design, this time you have like a horizontal blank spot. So it's time to fill that in so your whole design is really complete. Now, the cool thing is you can always upload it to Spoonflower, see what it looks like, and if you're not happy or you still see some blank areas, you can go back and rework your design. One of the big mistakes I made when I first did my design was I didn't get accurate with moving it to the left and to the right and top and bottom. You have to make sure you get it right in the middle, or else there's going to be a weird little seam in your design. Here I am uploading my design onto the Spoonflower website, and I just wanted to see what it would look like as a swatch, a fat quarter, but I was going to order it by yards. So I definitely wanted to see what a full yardage would look like and if it was going to be big and bold or maybe too big and bold for my design. So you'll definitely want to check it out, test it out, see what it looks like before placing your order.
And there you have it. I say as if it's just so easy. It did take me several tries to fully comprehend and understand how to make this pattern happen. So I would maybe recommend toying around with the paper first so you kind of understand how you're going to go about the process of making this pattern work. And of course, if you're brand new to Procreate, definitely get a little bit of that under your belt first before you dive into something like pattern making. But honestly, you don't have to be an expert, I am not, at Procreate to make it happen. And if you're going to make something like a dress like this, I'm often asked, how much yardage do I order? I like to play it safe and order 4, but that's because I'm using a circle skirt pattern, and circle skirts, they tend to use a lot of fabric. If you're doing something that is a little bit more not quite as poofy, maybe a gathered skirt or a straight skirt, you could probably get away with 3 yards of fabric. Anyway, I hope that you had fun. I hope that you learned something, and I really hope that you give making your own fabric a try. Toodles!